Samira comes out from Doggo. Okay, I'm liking it. Nautilus, Samira, just take it to them.
Yeah, but you get ranged as all hell here on the LNG side, right? Like, you need to make sure that these plays are going your way. And when WeiWei hasn't selected a jungler now, you have the opportunity to ban away the Xin Zhao, ban away anything that can cause issues like a Jarvan into that bot lane, like deny access to the bottom side of the map. And you kind of just able to play through the strong lane as LNG, BLG. I mean, they're putting themselves into a corner and kind of hoping that LNG don't spot us.
I have to see the Rek'Sai. I can't believe we've got to a point where Rek'Sai is bannable. Like 2 weeks ago, Rek'Sai was basically never picked, and now suddenly it's actually bannable. But I guess, especially if you're playing Lee Sin, that's always going to make sense. The Camille and Orianna being banned away from Doinb and Ale, respectively. So the final ban is going to be from LNG. Whether that's just another jungler, Zhao still available right now, does well into the Lee Sin. Wouldn't be surprised to see that taken off.
Yeah, it's Sin or Jarvan are the two in my head. Like, either are worth this, you'll probably get the opposite picked up. The Jarvan I kind of agree with, just because Lux is able to deal with Xin Zhao a little bit easier just because he has to come head on. Whereas because the Jarvan can flag and drag while still caught up in your life binding, makes it a little bit more difficult. That is not where I thought WeiWei was going to go. I still think Xin Zhao is still a viable option here. Just because you really want, like, this composition from BLG is very early aggression. Yeah, there you go. I was like, Viego does not fit into that profile that we're looking at for BLG. So, Xin Zhao going to be taken. For LNG side, with the Orianna gone in the mid, I'm not actually certain what they are going to try and take against the Ryze. You want something that can push in relatively hard. Maybe Syndra, honestly, or something like that. Something that can just, like, push in super hard against this Ryze. And Gwen has been the blind pick of the blind picks for the top lane. So, just going to be taken here for Alan.
Yeah. They've got Gwen and Caitlyn. And Lee Sin. Dagda, what's happening in this draft? Wait, when you look at the BLG draft, you look at the LNG draft, these drafts are not equal. They're just not. Like, I don't care about lane matchups. I don't care about your analysis. I just care about the numbers. The numbers don't lie, Mason.
Galio's such a good pick here. Galio's such a good pick.
Galio as well.
Oh, God. Because now it's Samira.
I think LNG have got it. I'm calling it now.
Because Samira wants to jump in on you. Same with the Xin Zhao. And the second you do, that Galio ult on top of the Caitlyn who's backing away, the Lux who's doing everything, and being able to counteract the engage from FoFo is going to be so nice on that bot side. Right. BLG, you're putting all your eggs in the breeze basket right now, and it better be a golden goose, to be perfectly honest with the way this one's going.
Well, as a WE fan for a long time, I love Galio and I love Breeze. These are two consistent facts.
So what side your heart is going? Which way is it?
Forget my heart. My heart's not part of the equation. I'm braining it, Dagda. I'm absolutely braining it here. Breathe is an absolute monster. If we're putting the eggs in the Breathe basket, I believe in Breathe. But from a well, that was not an analytical point. That's entirely emotional. I'm just lying to the audience at this point.
I wasn't going to call you out on it. I was just like, this isn't analytical in the slightest.
What I'm trying to say is, we've got two WE-esque things happening, but WE always lose when they play through topside. So, I'm leaning the way of LNG. I think the one thing that can go the way of BLG is if they do get an advantage, if things are flipped in the early game, if shenanigans occur and they get a lead, it's going to be real difficult for LNG to come back in this game. Like, this is not a composition that's going to outscale and get crazy in the late game. This is lane dominance from LNG, so we need to see an early lead from.
And I think both junglers are going to start on the top side of the map, path down towards this bot lane, and really try and give us those shenanigans early. I'm pretty much expecting, like, past level 2, 3, for Flash to be burnt off cooldown every time from Crisp. Like, Flash in, engage on LvMao, try and burn it. You can even see LvMao kind of half expecting this, right? Aftershock taken as well. He knows that this is not a lane where you can kind of take the Guardian and, like, deny some of the poke. It's like, no, I have to be tanky to survive this all-in.
See if he's going to be able to survive those all-ins. If he even gets hooked, might be the perfect player and dodge absolutely everything. Or maybe not. We'll have to see. I'll be honest, wouldn't usually describe LvMao as a perfect player. Crisp will walk away. I wasn't sure if someone was going to go crazy over the wall or something, but he'll be fine for the time being. Just keeping vision to make sure LNG can't do anything. But they're sticking around, Dagda. They are not backing off. And there is no vision of this from the side of BLG.
No spell or ability taken by LvMao right now either. You can see in the bottom left corner. He's waiting to see exactly what might be needed, but instead, LNG just going to back away. They don't even place a ward down on that blue buff, but it's actually interesting to see, right? I thought that Tarzan was going to try and path up, from top to bot to be there to support Light and LvMao on this all-in. WeiWei, though, is going to be the one starting up top side. Maybe he tries to go for some sort of, like, 3 camp into bot. Or, honestly, like, try and go for something real funky, like, just go for a double camp into, like, setting up with Chris Pup into a bot side camp. Like, getting this lane ahead in the bot side is crucial for me.
It certainly is. I mean, crucial for both sides, really. But I think, more importantly, LNG, it will naturally get ahead, right? You have the range advantage, unless you lose a big all-in, unless you put yourself in a position to get all-in, like this, for example. You should naturally just win out this lane on range alone. They are going to have the level 2 advantage, and that means Doggo and Crisp are going to have to back away on this one. And for anyone that hasn't seen it already, the reason this lane is so obnoxious, I feel like we haven't explained it at all. Basically, Lux can throw a bind. When they're bound, Caitlyn puts a trap underneath their feet. The trap then guarantees maximum Q damage for Caitlyn, no matter how many minions the Q travels through. And then you get a headshot on top of it as well. And in the right situation, you can get a net for another headshot. It's very difficult to play against if you get caught by single binding. And Lux can bind through minions. It's even better than the Morgana method.
And even just the ability to trade effect, right? Like, whatever about abilities, you've got super long range coming through from the Caitlyn. She's just able to be obnoxious against you. You've got the shield coming through from the Lux as well, which allows her to trade favorably, but FoFo.
Double flash mid. FoFo still going to get taunted, though. The Sonic Wave is there, but damage not quite enough. FoFo walks away with his life.
And bot lane was even roaming up there, so just making sure that if WeiWei tried to turn around, they still had the support. And means at least now LNG back in control on this bottom side. Double Crab going the way of Tarzan. And it's actually WeiWei who's going to have to make his way back up towards this top side. So denying WeiWei access to the bot lane, which allows Light and LvMao to continue this presence on the bot side.
Yeah, he can just chill all day long. He's been spotted on that hook. And Crisp goes ever so slightly wide on the hook. But it was still in the same lane, so I'm surprised it didn't connect as a Nautilus hook. Usually those hit. But yeah,
hashtag not salty.
Yeah. That's my inner Caitlyn player coming out. Honestly, I just want LNG to win because they're playing Caitlyn. I just love Caitlyn. Caitlyn's brilliant. And in my defense, that was the case before Arcane, guys. All right, I already love Caitlyn. I'm the OG. I'm a hipster Caitlyn.
I just love how you've got like several times where you like hedge your bets, right? You're the WE and the Suning guy. You're the Caitlyn guy and the Zoe guy. It's just like you kind of like to pick your eggs across multiple different baskets, so you never really lose them.
Like if you tweet enough, I think this team is going to win Worlds tweets over the year. You can quote one of them.
So just do the freak. Just do the freak.
Yeah. Alan getting all in here by Creep. Just gets knocked away again. It's going to be, I'm imagining that's going to be a consistency in that top side. Little mini all-ins that just get disengaged. Same at the bottom side as well, where now I'm like, oh, hang on. Okay, never mind. They're just going to reset. I was worried if they moved too far forwards with the W on cooldown for Doggo.
Oh, they're fading us.
News. Trouble. Light going to drop a trap underneath his own feet, so Crisp is going to walk onto that, gets caught, the Q comes on through, flash out from Crisp. Can they finish these kills off though? Doggo flashes away, knock up onto Crisp, and first blood taken by Tarzan.
I am shocked that BLG fell for that, to be honest. Like, you've got Doinb missing completely from the mid lane, the wave push mini, there's no TP, there's no reason for him to be gone, unless he's going to the bot side, and Crisp just ends up walking directly into it, so he'll go in the way of LNG's. Already, this Light and LvMao lane getting attention from their counterparts on the map.
Yep, nicely done here. An advantage in the bottom side, and crucially, that'll lead to a bit of a CS advantage, you would hope. Then again, Doggo didn't die, so he was able to stick around there in that lane, and he'll be able to just shove that wave in himself. Moves on over, all in on the top side. Breathe versus Ala. Breathe flashes away. Does not want to play that game anymore. The needles a little bit too pointy for him.
The big thing though with Light and LvMao coming back into this bot lane now is that they can actually set up for a bit of a push here where they can reset for the return of 8 minutes.
Big all in. I thought it was just a little bit of trade, but here we go. Oh, actually, Wineland's over as well. Not level 6 though. And actually, what? Tarzan managed to find his way over. Got the Q on in. Beautifully done. Hook onto Tarzan though. Will he survive? Safeguard over. Ignite is enough. And FoFo gets the kill.
Yeah, Tarzan had no flash to get out of there. Well, probably should have flashed a little bit sooner, honestly, but tried to hold on to that for so long and ends up costing the end. Now Doggo sitting in the mid lane, just moving with Crisp to get control. But here's what I was talking about, right? Pushing the bot side coming through from Light. They'll be able to shove this in, move up towards this top side, and usually you need your jungler here to just make sure you can get this push, but because they just killed WeiWei, well, they know they're safe to go for this. So now Wave about to hit the tower, they're going to start rocking up towards that Rift Herald and getting control over that objective.
Really nicely done by Tarzan. Just plays it patiently. Nice combo. Doinb comes in, and then LvMao finds it. Really nice.
And just about able to get it, but like this is where Tarzan just flash out. Like you just need to make sure that you're getting out to safety. There's no reason to try and stick around, and it ends up costing him too much. So still, flash burnt and the kill going across is not ideal, but I actually thought we'd see LvMao start to roam up towards this top side to see if they wanted to contest for Herald. Like, Herald with the Caitlyn is incredibly strong, but not wanting to do so just yet. And honestly, with the way the lane is going right now, not having that big advantage, getting Rift Herald and setting this Caitlyn ahead is pretty good for LNG.
The Herald always going to be an advantage for any team, but especially when you've got these kinds of lanes that you want to be ahead. Remember what we said before, get these lanes ahead, get the advantage, and then snowball from there. So yes, the Caitlyn down on the bottom side, you could slam it top as well though. Get gold onto the Gwen would be perfectly fine as well. But so far, gold just about even across the board. You know, after all of that happened earlier on, Doggo actually finding himself a CS lead and a slight gold lead in the bottom lane. All thanks to the fact that Light actually had to reset the all-in. Here we go though. Herald going to be the case. Everyone moving over on both sides of the board here. BLG the ones on the scene for now. Everybody's hit level 6 at this point, aside from supports. Tarzan just goes up to the top lane, but he missed his Sonic Wave. I don't think it'll matter, or will it, Breathe? Oh, just about goes down, but that was damn close in the meantime. Herald taken by BLG. Don't think they'll find a fight on the top side.
LNG committed too many resources to this. They're not in time for the Rift Herald because, if you said right, they didn't go off of that initial time that they had in the bot lane. And now Light's moved up. Yes, he'll collect some of the wave that's hit the tower, but he could be getting plates on bot side here. He could be making a cross map for the Herald, but LNG are doing neither.
It's worth mentioning, Caitlyn, real good at getting those plates with their headshots being able to hit towers. You absolutely shred through. The stages of the game, not finding that extra gold, and actually now Light moving over to this top side to try and match Doggo and Crisp, trying to make sure that the Samira can't get ahead, can't get all of the plate gold from the Herald free.
Still though, when you look at like where the advantages are accruing, I'm just gonna stop Doggo from resetting. When the advantages are accruing, right? Samira, free CS lead, nothing important, right? And when we look at the scaling options that are on LNG, you certainly need to be getting ahead as Bilibili. Not really seeing that at the moment, as Doinb's been doing a good job of like keeping track and setting up plays, even sitting here on the top side, right, just in range of Galio ult, in case BLG go for some sort of bomb.
Find an all-in for the time being. That's going to be a plate taken by Light LvMao. We are getting to the point now in this matchup where it is like, okay, if it's not an all-in from BLG, it's going to be plates for LNG. They are going to be able to just hammer away on the tower. The range is going to come in. The Noon Quiver as well really helps Caitlyn with just having enough attack speed to dish out damage in these trades and get those headshots going. The question is what is happening elsewhere on the map, because Tarzan's moved over to the bottom side right here, while WeiWei is up top. This dragon should be relatively uncontested.
Well, the problem is that we haven't actually seen much from him. Because he hasn't been able to play bot side as well, because LNG have too many members down there, he's not getting advantages for Doggo. He hasn't been able to play around, he hasn't been playing around Breathe because he's been playing around bot side, so Breathe hasn't been able to get this big advantage for himself, right? Yes, he's picking up a wave now, but realistically, this Jayce could be like a kill or two up, like 20 to 30 CS in the right hands, but Breathe just hasn't been given the resources to allow himself to punish the matchup. So it feels like with BLG playing this slow game, LNG are actually kind of calling the bluff and going, hey, look, that's all well and good, but this is a team that you have to play fast on. So if you're going at our pace, we're totally okay with it.
I mean, look, at the start of the game, I said, or at the start of the, before the break, I said, I wanted to see a different version of BLG. I wanted to see what else they could do aside from just go slow and play for scaling. They've drafted a different style. They've drafted fast. Matching it in play so far, but that could all change over the next few minutes. Certainly, it's not over just yet. The conversation of scaling is still a good 15-20 minutes away realistically, and this Samira, one good fight is enough to change the face of a game for this kind of champion. So we'll have to wait and see what BLG have up their sleeves. Because remember, Mythic's not even finished just yet, so still plenty of time. Could be a good little laser there coming out from LvMao, bit of damage onto WeiWei, but not too much to write home about.
But that's why I think it's best for LNG to just stick to the lane, right? They already have that first dragon for themselves. Give up 2 dragons. Get yourself to those late games where the Mythics are coming in your favor. Where you've got 2 items underneath your belt. And there's no reason for you to try and like push the pace of the game, right? You're just going to opt into scaling. And you've got Doinb to be as your bridge to that late game. Play off the sides, keep yourself safe. So as long as LNG kind of stick to a long laning phase, they're actually okay. And you can even see now, right? Like, this isn't a case of, oh, we're going to go aggressive. It's more like, hey, we want to protect our resources.
So if the wall gets the bind onto WeiWei here, forces the press straight off the bat. It's going to be the red buff taken. Another laser. It's already off the cooldown somehow. And now Realm Walk trying to get them out to safety. Only one person in though, and the rest of BLG might get chased down. Doinb does a flash, but will not commit. All of that for a red buff. Doggo the one to get it in the end. That feels like a huge fight for just one buff.
Again, though, it's like stopping BLG from getting more, right? Getting more control over the bot side, getting deep vision. They do have a ward. You can see it just at the offset of the red. Just peeking there. I think actually Tarzan might just clear it out. Yeah, he just... Oh, no, he didn't clear it out. He got spotted on, but should still give a good amount of control to BLG, but at least they're not, like, getting more camps, getting further ahead, using the lane advantages that they, in theory, have to push forward.
FoFo doing a really good job in this series as well. Once again, having an advantage. Obviously, he's against the Galio, right? You expect him to have a CS lead for himself, but 30 CS up in that mid lane, more than 10 CS per minute. He's doing the Doinb Ryze hack to Doinb, which is a hell of a sentence. But also with that kill from the fight as well. WeiWei. He's building himself up. Doinb's been caught in the river, trying to roam up towards that top side. Taunt is going to do some work. WeiWei moving in, forces the flash out from Doinb. BLG. Does feel like BLG, despite only a small gold lead for themselves, having a lot of control.
Yeah, and it's to be expected, right? Like, this is the team that is powerful right now. Like, this is the team that can definitely do some damage if they're able to, but you can kind of see that LNG are trying to play away from it, right? A minute until the dragon, they've rotated Caitlyn up to the top side. They want to go, right, if you guys fully commit to the bot half of the map, we can still look for the Rift out ourselves. Or if we end up in a position where we want to try and go for Rift out, at least this Caitlyn can shove in. But unfortunately, with everyone on reset, Light actually can't try and push in that wave. So still means that BLG controlling that Rift out area, and Light is actually going to teeter back down towards the bot side and try and trade it for the dragon.
I'm not sure whose trinket that was, but someone on BLG just did a blue trinket into a brush that they had a control in. The little brush leading into river, what was banana brush, I think. Oh no, it's not that brush, is it? I don't know. I can't remember what it's called, but the one leading into river got a bonus little ward in it, just for the bans here. LNG threatening a dive onto Doggo, but Crisp is alongside him. I'm not sure diving Nautilus is the play right now. The rest of LNG now collapsing onto this blue buff instead, just getting what they can. As Breathe will find himself a tier 1 in this top side of the map. That'll be the second tower of the game for BLG. LNG will be able to release trade on the bottom side. You can see Allah on the tower in the meantime. This will be a Herald on top of it though for BLG. So once again, another very positive trade. But with Drake spawning, you would hope Tarzan will kick that.
Yeah, there's a couple of different like winners and losers to look at LNG in that passage to play. So when we look at like Rift Tower, potential money and potential towers for BLG, Allah gets a lot. He got full commit on towards the bot side where he's able to get wave for himself, tower for himself, but it was actually Light who spent a lot of time running around the map, not getting any CS. So Light falling behind in respect of his counterpart for Doggo, and that mid lane turret going the way of BLG as well, means that Light's going to be kind of put a step behind just a little bit when it comes into the grand scheme of things. And at least with two, oh, hang on.
FoFo going behind the play. Breather's already here as well. That's an easy pick onto Ala, who just stayed for one too many waves, and now a bit of proactivity out from BLG. The question is, what can they get with this opportunity? They have Herald to push with, remember.
Yeah, and they have options, right? Push in bot here, you try and contest for Breathe. Okay, cool, we're gonna pop that Rift out of mid. You don't contest with Breathe. Right, we just commit on towards the bot side here, which is what you can see BLG doing, and look to get the two plate anyway, or sorry, turret anyway, while keeping our hands on the Rift Herald. It's a lose-lose here for LNG. A nice pickup for BLG.
Done here by BLG. They don't opt into the Herald. They don't opt into committing too hard, just accepting the pick, taking it as a small victory, as opposed to hard committing and trying to force a play that they weren't sure on. And I like that, but ultimately, I feel like that is the identity of BLG these days, right? Risk of things. Play it slow, play it safe. Yes, they're going to pick, but not going for too much more, not overstepping, not risking the entire game.
I don't feel like there was a lot of risk there, though. Like, watch your map on the mini-map on the replay, right? You've already committed 3 members down to this play, and it's a nice job, right? Full push in top wave, push in the mid lane. There's no way that LNG can try and respond. You then spot everyone from LNG on their respective waves. So having WeiWei commit to that bot lane turret could have just netted you the turret because Tarzan couldn't defend. Maybe they were afraid of a TP coming in from Ala, but you have TP from FoFo to match. So it was weird that you don't actually try and commit for that. Because again, like, that bot tower not going down doesn't seem like a big deal, right? But it is standing gold. It is pressure that Breeze can put on the map. And he could push in that wave, commit to players to mid lane, and maybe you make a pick onto like LvMao off of the jungle vision you have in bot. Like, it's these kind of things that can very quickly snowball a game. And it's one of the things we're not seeing BLG commit to frequently, and it can cause issues.
Bit of a scrap in the jungle though. WeiWei kicked into LvMao, who just blasts him point blank with a laser. Doinb comes in as well. Tarzan trying to finish this kill off, but WeiWei is damn tanky. Gets the knock up, somehow surviving, but will finally fall. The rest of the team diving onto FoFo at the same time. And LNG, out of nowhere, find themselves 2 picks and suddenly control of the map.
And Breathe has gone for first tower because he can't threaten a tier 2. So now LNG get to trade the towers, and they are going to be in a great position. That Rift Herald probably isn't going to get used because you've still got 15 seconds until WeiWei's actually up. So LNG going to maybe get the tier 2 in the top here as well. Doggo, though, has push in mid, so he's going to be able to get this mid tier 2 as well. So at least for BLG, still trading relatively up on map state, but gold advantage in favor of LNG.
Yep, that's 2 towers for 2 towers across the map here. LNG, though, getting the 2 kills on top of it means that the gold gap has been reduced ever so slightly. Was slightly more significant for BLG, now about 1,000 in their favor. That's the 2nd red buff in a row, though, that Doggo's going to walk away with. He's very happy with the way this jungle matchup is going right now. But again, I mean, this was just smart from LNG, but a little disrespectful from WeiWei just to walk in by himself.
Yeah, and LNG just playing towards where their strength is, right? Like, they've got Knight here, they've got LvMao, Duty as well, like, to very quickly commit, especially since they're making the play towards FoFo, right? FoFo not going to be able to make a big impact on that play, so for LNG, they're just going to do the same again, right? Avoid the strong part of the map, which is the bot side from BLG, and look to try and get pressure in this top side of the jungle.
Around the Baron, actually, having complete control of this Rift. Vision control certainly of the area. Pings onto it. That's going to kick things off. You know, this is a team with Doinb. FBX were very happy to kick off a Baron last year, and apparently LNG exactly the same this year. Tarzan on the scene. TP coming on through. LNG, they could just jump on top of FoFo here. Going to try and chase him. Breathe, teleports in, teleports galore on both sides. Breathe targets, Tarzan goes in, but he's knocked back. FoFo trying to get the damage out before the fight is already over, but the taunt is there. The CC finishes them off. And FoFo removed from the passage of play. Now Doinb has to play bouncer for the rest of his squad as WeiWei goes in, but a flash forward to get a point-blank find from LvMao. It sets up for a kill onto the jungler, a laser across the team, and LNG with just beautiful team fighting, setting everything up, and it doesn't feel like BLG can breathe in this fight as he's the last man to go down.
And just like that, the great game cracks open in favor of LNG. They find the fight that they took so patiently, and now they will get the Baron as well.
LNG just suffocated BLG. Whatever they do, LNG is already 5 steps ahead in that fight. I can't wait to see the replay because there was so much going on there, but LNG, exactly the same page, the whole team, the whole time.
There's a couple things I want to look at real quick. The DP used by Doinb rather than the ult is really smart because it means that then he still has the ult for if BLG try and go for counter engage. And you're going to see it in just a second, right? Pick onto FoFo, Tarzan's low, BLG think they can still make the fight. Doggo cannot commit to this fight because Doinb still has his TP. It means they can pick off WeiWei here, and the second Doggo tries to go in towards this fight, right? He's been zoned away, and then the engage comes through again. Still can't go in aggressive as Doggo, and the second he does, Doinb ults. And that's why it was taking so long for Doggo to become relevant in this fight, was he was trying to wait it out. But Doinb was so patient on that ultimate, allowing Light to play at range and Ala and Tarzan to pick off BLG Fitmo.
Yeah, fantastic stuff coming out from the squad. And, you know, this is the thing about LNG. We always talk about teams playing together and working as a unit. One thing LNG have been able to do the entire split is, especially Tarzan and Doinb, work as a pair, but LvMao joining in with the scraps. Sometimes he goes a little too far on his own, but generally speaking, the coordination, the camaraderie feels fantastic from LNG. And in these fights, we get to witness it. Now a 3,000 gold lead in LNG's favor. Last time we talked about gold, it was BLG with the advantage. That's a 4k gold swing, and now more towers going their way as well. Crisp takes an ace in the hole to the face. Face they go. Remember, Caitlyn so good in these siege situations. The line of traps comes down. It means there's no engage available for BLG as FoFo is forced away by Ala. And again, Caitlyn just hammering away with a Baron up cannon on top of it. There goes the inhib. Now resets have to come out because Breathe is pushing, but Doinb is matching just about everything he does.
Yeah, you might get the top tier, or the top inhibitor turret, but you got the inhib mid. You're getting the tier 2 bot and the inhibitor turret here. You were able to push those rest as LNG because they had Doinb with ultimate who's pushing the bot side. Now the reset's coming through for the Jayce, but it might be too late. His turret's already gone.
And I really like the trap placement coming out from Light here. Good laser onto FoFo. Good engagement coming out from BLG. Chris taunted up. WeiWei splits the team, but it's not going to do enough. LNG still feeling comfortable on this one. And now with a dive, maybe they could look for more than just an inhibitor. There's a pick onto Chris. I don't think it's enough to end the game. Perhaps with Baron waves, we'll have to see how LNG are feeling about it.
LNG, they're taking everything here. Mid and bot now got in their favor. Top is the only... Oh, actually, we might still go.
They're going for it. The TP onto the minion to keep the wave alive. In goes WeiWei to try and buy time. One tower falls. WeiWei gonna go down next as well. Doinb keeping the team stuck in the fray. Doggo with a blade surge, but it's not going to matter. The towers are falling. Still 5 strong for LNG and BLG. They looked good earlier in the series, but they have been thwarted at the end. LNG come up trumps with a dominant Game 3 over BLG.
And the big test that we put forward for LNG was going to be against BLG. We talked about the strength of schedule at the start of the day was, hey, look, what does LNG have when they come up against some of the best teams in the LPL? Well, right here, they keep their undefeated streak alive, pushing them to 6 and 0.
And that was the big question, right? Can they do it against the big names? Well, BLG bought some of the biggest names in the business, and they